Family.
What's going on?
It's good to see y'all.
Yeah,
Another day, another dollar.
happy
Another
Friday.
day, another dollar.
We have so much to talk about today. And you know what? Hopefully, we're not going to drag it too long. But honestly, when I found out some of the games this Saturday when I was volunteering at the Tiger end zone, I definitely was like, man, I got to talk to Mr. Peters and Dr. Irvin about this. Because when we found out about all corn, but you know what? I'm not going to jump ahead. But all I got to say was that was very shocking. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And a lot of you guys' prediction was very wrong. Hey, Mr. Pittman. But let's talk about this past game, last week's game against who did we play against last week? I want to say it was Texas Southern.
Texas Southern, yes.
So how do you guys feel about that game? Because I was there, I was working it, but I was still there, and honestly, I thought we were doing good. So I looked up and I saw they were ahead of us at one point in the game.
All right, let me break this down. we might as well just get into it. Let me just break this down. So Texas Southern had a good game plan coming out of the block. They changed some things and they surprised us. If you look and study Texas Southern during the course of this season, they've pretty much been throwing the ball a lot with Andrew Body and the receivers they have, and they've been kind of moving the ball around. They came out with a straight run option game plan. And when you think about the run option this season, it's not something that Jackson State has seen. So they had to make adjustments. They had to make adjustments on the fly. We're a team that built to be aggressive. And one of the side effects of being aggressive, you tend to over pursue. But if you got somebody that's a great run option team and you hadn't seen that, you got some confusion over who got the quarterback and who got the pitch man. And so you have to make those adjustments. And so once they made those adjustments at halftime, you saw that kind of turn around and change. In fact, they scored 7 additional points after halftime, and that was a wrap. So I think, that'll happen. But what I'm happy to see is how quickly we were able to make adjustments, because there have been times in the past where we never made adjustments.
Yeah. What about you, Dr. Irvin? How you feel about the game?
Feeling just fine. Feeling fine. I feel like it was good for us to come out and score on the first drive. That's something we hadn't been doing.
Yeah.
And I agree. They came out running triple option, not just run option. They were running old fashioned option. So that's a little bit different. You don't see that much in today's game. Matter of fact, there's not many teams that run that. Georgia Tech still runs it.
Okay.
But obviously, what they did was they saw the Valley tape, and they saw that we had over pursuit, as Mr. Peters said, and so they switched the offense up because Body only had 79 yards passing for the entire game.
Okay. Okay then. Yeah, the game, it was good. I was just, I just don't want us to I think it wasn't last year, but like freshman year, where we were kind of like doing good in our season, but then we kind of fell off. And that's only because I could see us.
That's what I think about that. Anyway.
But I could see us being second half team, and I just don't want us to do that. I want us to close the season, like end the season on a high note, But we did good overall. A W's a W. We just got to get ready for Southern. And you know what? I must say, literally today, as I was leaving from my 3:00 class, I thought of you guys because one of my friends, who's actually she was a cheerleader, she's not anymore. But I was like, hey guys, what you doing? You going to Southern? And I was like, no. And they was like, it's a little dangerous down there sometimes. And I was like, what do you mean? They said, make sure when you go down there, take all of your JSU stuff out of your car. And I was like, my bosses told me the same exact thing when they were going to JSU. I said, but it happened in Valley. I said, they told me the same exact thing. I said, they told me how They won JSU won a basketball game and they slashed their tires. And the girl that was telling me, she said how she was a cheerleader the last time she went, and they were still telling her, "You guys can't go anywhere by yourself. Don't do this, don't do that." And I was like, "This is why you're in the stadium, like while you're cheering." She said, "Yeah, it was very, you know, you just need to be safe." So I never
So
realized how crazy it could get. I never realized that till y'all talking
here,
about
here's what I will tell you, Kennedy. It's a great game day atmosphere, but just like Jackson State is in an urban area, Southern University is in an urban area, and it's really congested. Once you get on campus, you're fine. Just got to be like in any urban area. You got to keep your head on a swivel.
Yes. I'm definitely gonna do that. I definitely said I'm gonna tell my friends when we go because we just bought our tickets yesterday. I said, yeah, any type of. I'm glad we're not driving my car. Granted, I could take off my license plate holder. I don't really know how to, so that's why.
Yeah.
Uh,
So here's,
what Miss Irvin say?
oh yes, yes, Mrs.
That is
Irvin.
true.
She's
Yes, that
referring
is
to a
true.
true story from when we were in undergrad. We lost the game at Valley, and when we came out, the tires were slashed. That was at Mississippi Valley, located on Highway 82 in Itta Bena, Mississippi. That happened.
That
We know
happened.
it happened because we were in the car uh, with the slashed tires. So we're
Right.
not talking on second or third hand information. That happened.
Look,
19 what? 1993?
93, and we were calling on the Lord all the way home
Look,
because we
here,
had
Mr. Pittman, he
we,
agreeing with
we
y'all.
put the spare
Yeah, he
on.
was with us.
He was.
So
Yeah, he was with
yeah,
us.
yeah.
So
So
how
here's
many other was y'all? Like all what? Just
Us
three or four?
three. It was just
I
us
think it was
three,
the
I
three of
think.
us.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
And I never
Kennedy,
forget because it was on a Saturday night.
yeah, yeah. So here's the other piece of advice since you all are going to the game, Kennedy.
Hmm.
Southern is basically a one way. If you don't know the area, it's a one way in, one way out. So
It's like all
you got to make
corners.
sure that you are over the bridge. I would say be over the bridge by 2 o'clock.
Okay, be over the bridge by 2 o'clock. Let me tell my
Yeah,
friends that because we were talking about. She said she wanted to leave around like 1 because the game
no.
started at 6.
No,
Oh,
If you leave at 1, you're not gonna get in the game till after halftime.
right.
okay.
It will be sold out.
Yeah,
There won't be a seat in the stadium, and
y'all
it'll
supposed to
be
know
a
this. Now
whole
this
bunch
is
of people outside.
Well, we never. The one time we did go to Southern, though, this was our freshman year, but we didn't play Southern at Southern. We went for the Battle of the Bands, so it really wasn't like this type. It wasn't as packed.
That's different.
So that was
well,
the only time we ever went.
That's
well.
different.
This is the Boombox Classic held every
Okay.
year, and it's gonna be in Mumford, which only holds about 22,000 people. And the bridge that I'm talking about is not the bridge that gets you into Baton Rouge. I'm talking about the bridge that gets you right on the Southern's campus. It's like less than a mile from the stadium, but if you get caught on the wrong side of that bridge, you will sit in traffic literally almost the whole game.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna definitely tell
Yeah,
my friends
it's.
once we
I
get off
mean,
this show.
it's just like Alcorn. I mean, if you it's one way in, one way out. You just and then it's in Scotlandville. So the bottom line is, if you go into the Southern game, you're not leaving at 1 o'clock, or you're not going to the Southern game. I don't know
Right.
where you going. You might just be going to Baton Rouge,
Right.
but
You may be going to Baton Rouge to kick it and hang out, but you're not going to the game.
no.
Okay
So
then.
you
Because
might
most of
want
the
to try
people,
like 9 o'clock in the morning. Y'all leave.
yeah, because
Okay. I'm gonna tell her.
most of the people that are going to the game, they're going to leave between 8 and 9 in the morning. And trust me when I tell you, there will be a lot of people from Jackson going to the game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's all you're gonna see down the highway.
I'm gonna have to tell them for sure. Then, as soon as we get off here, I'm gonna tell them we gotta leave earlier than 1 then
Oh
because
yeah.
we're trying to find a hotel and we looked like weeks before, but I guess we waited too late still, and they were all sold out. So
Kennedy,
I
Kennedy,
we looked weeks before, like we really thought we were doing great. I
okay.
promise you, we really did.
Kennedy, let me give you some perspective. I think this is your first time really having to go to Southern.
Yeah.
People make the Southern reservations win or lose before the season starts. As soon as the schedule come out, they
Yeah.
make the hotel reservation.
Okay.
Because that game, regardless of whether it's in Jackson, Baton Rouge, that game is that game. So
It doesn't matter what the record is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's up, who's down. Anything can happen.
All right then. Well, I'm definitely gonna keep that in mind. So this week I honestly had a pretty hectic week, but it was a great week overall. Oh, he said I'm already booked a hotel for All game 3 weeks ago. Yeah, my parents, all my family's coming
yeah.
down. Like
You know
all
what?
my
I'm
aunties,
sorry, guys.
uncles.
Sorry, Kennedy. I'm sorry, friend. I just don't feel right. Something is off for me today. Let me see if I can't. Something is just off. Let me see if I can't get myself together over here because I just don't feel. I don't feel right. No, okay, I feel better. I feel better. I feel better. All right. Go ahead.
I
Oh,
was
Kennedy,
gonna.
Kennedy.
Mm, mm.
Before you go into your prime time week, here's the other thing I need you to do. I'm gonna be watching the game on television, right?
Okay.
But Southern University, HBCU royalty, um, little cousin to Jackson State. Um, they cheat a lot.
Oh yes.
So
Mm.
I recently heard a story, and we laughed about this because I the same thing happened to us. So we went to a game in 2003 or four that was in Mumford. It was a close game. They had the ball, they scored, and then the scoreboard went out. And I kept telling Antonio, Leslie, were you with us?
No, I didn't go. Gladys was with
Okay.
you.
I
I didn't
kept
go
telling
there.
Antonio, I'm like, this is a weird deal with the way the scoreboard went out because the top of the scoreboard where they had the advertisements,
Didn't go out.
it was working.
So was it
And
the same
Just
score
the
when it came
clock.
back on?
Just the
and
clock, man. Just the clock.
yeah, just the clock and the score. And so Jackson State gets the ball and they say the referees are gonna keep time on the field. Jackson State ran one play, the referee said the game was over and the scoreboard came back on.
Yeah, so they do like to cheat. Hmm.
So the
Yeah, we gonna
story
have to
I
watch.
heard, the reason I tell you that is that this is, I thought that was like Southern in its heyday or whatever. But no, I heard the same exact thing. They cut the scoreboard off when Walter Payton was playing too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that's their MO. So watch out for that
Mm.
scoreboard.
Right.
Yeah, they like to
And
cheat. Okay.
and let me also make you aware of this. We tell you all the time, but I feel like this group, your group, generally are not really prepared for this game. This is not a friendly rivalry. This is not the Alcorn crowd at all.
Mm.
This is not what that is. I mean,
Well, I
we
wouldn't say
respect.
it's not friendly. It's not
Eh,
hostile. You
I
just
didn't
have
say
to
it was
know the right
hostile,
people.
but it's not friendly. For 60 minutes, it's not friendly for sure.
Oh yeah,
Now,
for the 60 minutes, but before the game and after the
oh
game,
yeah, before and after, it's good.
it's just
Well,
Southern's.
it depends. It depends.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, that's all hype. I get what you're
That's how
saying, but it's all hype because, and the reason I say that is because I've tailgated with various groups from Southern in Jackson and in Baton Rouge,
yeah.
in Scotlandville, right beside the English building, for years and years and years. This is one of the first times matter of fact, I've not gone to Southern because
wow.
the hospitality is very good. Now they talk noise. They talk noise like no other.
She said fifth quarter ain't friendly either.
Yeah, keep that same energy because she's trying to say that Southern gonna blow us out, but Southern band got to stop fighting each other in the stands um, before they can focus on us. I got my petty ready.
Listen,
It's, it's SU week. I can tell you all kinds of stories. So
now, let me say this. Charles is saying his is a little bit distorted. Now, I'm going to say this. It's respectful. It's courteous. Before and after the game is cool. Well, before the game is definitely cool. After the game, it depends on how bad they lose. Now, let me say this because that's why I tell you don't have nothing on your card. Take that stuff off.
Yeah.
So, and it's not everybody, but the crowd he was tailgating with were people from our hometown, people he had known for years. So,
I've tailgated with non-hometown people though, Liz, is what I'm telling you. I've done it with both.
I tailgate before the game. I don't tend to tailgate after the game with Southern. he has that experience. So great. He can talk to you about that. Because by the time we beat Southern, I never make it back to the tailgate because it's just I'm on a whole different wavelength.
I mean, but you got to know too, because you don't want to scare Kennedy.
Oh, it's not scary. It's
Just
not scary.
just be aware, because I can tell you. I mean, I've been there when they beat us. I've been there when we beat them. And the one thing about Southern fans, they talk a lot of trash beforehand, but they are the world's greatest leavers. When they start getting beat, they disappear like they will vanish like superheroes.
Yeah.
they,
Now
they leave.
they can get out. Now you know how they can pack a room.
Oh
They can
yeah.
also vacate one too.
Yeah, you can be looking around and the stadium is packed to capacity. If they start losing, all their fans are gonna leave.
But I
I
will
believe.
tell you
I think
this.
I feel like I did they do that at one of the games? Well, we didn't. We just started winning for real, so I can't really remember. I'm gonna be
But Kennedy,
quiet.
I'm gonna tell you this. In all honesty, though, it is a great experience. No, we talk a lot now. Now, if you can't handle noise talking, that's
That's
on
not the
you.
game
But
to go to.
it's not the game to go to because it's gonna be noise talking on both sides. But literally after the game is if you lose, you just gotta take it and wait for next year.
And
And
they don't like losing at anything.
right.
Smoke,
Yeah.
y'all lucky smoking out there.
Yes.
I'd rest his soul, because Smoke was a Southern fan to his heart.
Yes.
Um,
Um,
So
but I would
Greatest
tell you
fans,
two
enjoy the
things.
game. It'll be something you'll remember forever, and then you'll understand what we're talking about. It's one of the most passionate games, and you got two of the most passionate fan bases in football. Period, and you see it. So it's a good time. I wouldn't trade it for nothing.
Yeah.
okay.
And then the last thing I'm gonna say on this, just like the scoreboard. Now, Southern is world known for their shenanigans in their home stadium.
Oh yeah,
So my junior year, I went to see them play Tennessee State at Southern, right?
Mm.
And Tennessee State, aristocratic bands, fifth quarter, they lined up in parade formation, and Southern was celebrating because they thought they were gone.
Oh,
So they started marching like they were marching out of the stadium, and they marched into concert formation right in front of Southern on the field, and they were ready. They played flashlight. I'll never forget it. They played flashlight. When they started playing flashlight, Southern turned the stadium lights off. It was pitch black.
Southern is
But
petty.
yeah, but what they didn't expect was Tennessee State had flashlights for real. It was an epic beatdown that they caused for themselves.
Southern is
So,
petty.
and then one year, I think the Boom tried that and they turned the sprinklers on them.
yeah.
I know my
So
freshman year, they were supposed to provide us with a place to change into our uniforms. That building was locked when we got there, so Dr. Taylor made us march across campus. When we got to the stadium, the gate was locked. And that type of they were known for shenanigans.
They are petty. Okay, then Southern. I see how you guys
Yeah.
act.
so
Well,
let me
I
tell you,
definitely am excited for the game though.
exactly, and we're gonna get into some other stuff, and we'll come back, Kennedy. But one last thing I asked you about it. What have you noticed is different about on campus this week, particularly with the boom, than every other week?
Mm, notice that's different, particularly with the boom.
Yeah, have you noticed more practice, longer practice?
Um, yeah, I noticed, but I noticed it because like when I came back from volunteering like this past Sunday, and my friend was like, "Why are they out here?" And I was just like, "Girl, they practicing."
It's Southern week.
That's what
So
Southern
they
week is
practice. It was
different.
like beginning of this week, so yeah, the boom was practicing a lot. They actually were. Now that I think about it,
let me
It's
put it to you
tradition.
this way: the football team practiced on Sunday too.
they did.
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's tradition. It's Southern week. And I would imagine it probably was some people from Southern Band at practice.
Hmm.
They made a trip from Baton Rouge to watch us practice to see if they could get something for the stands and for the show. It's tradition.
yeah. But you know what? We're gonna get more into that later on in the show. I wanted to first highlight. I had a community service event. Me and my friend Naomi Harris. We both did a joint event. This is our project called Feed Jackson, basically, and it was originally 3 dates. So the first date we were going to do sack lunches like we did earlier this semester. Then it was going to be hygiene bags, and then it was going to be blankets. But after that incident with the homecoming and stuff, we just merged the 2 days together. So I wanted to show you guys a few people who you know donated. So we had, if I'm not mistaken, let's see. So that's one. Can you see that? I'm sorry. I wish I could blow it up more. Mm, well, there's one. I wanted to show you another one though.
No, it's not. We're not saying anything.
We're not
You're
seeing
not?
it.
No.
No,
Wow, that's embarrassing.
no, you're fine. Talk to us about how the idea came about and the steps that you took, because I know you put a lot of work into it. So tell the people in the audience what you did, why you did it, and what
Oh
was the
my gosh.
outcome.
Okay, so once again, I don't know why it's being like this. It's because I have a MacBook. I'm gonna email these to Mr. Peters while we're doing the show. But basically, the reason the reason why we did these this event was because one, we both had like a passion to feed the homeless. We really did this like the first type of community service event I did like this was actually in DC with my coworkers during my internship, and we kind of did the same exact thing where we basically just gave out sack lunches and water bottles. So I kind of posted it on my page this past summer, and my friend Naomi, she hit me up. She was just like, "Hey, I would love to do an event like this, in Jackson." So I was like, "Okay, great." And so that's why we really did it. It was honestly a great experience. It felt good to like have people tell us that they felt good about doing this. The purpose of the event was to really just feed the homeless and help the homeless the best way we can, because I feel like as I've gotten older and also as I've seen like just my friends and how my family have raised me, that made me realize that, some people have a worse situation than us, so you need to be grateful. And a lot of times, tough times don't last, tough people do. So it's understandable, and like you just help people out. So we basically wanted to do we really surpassed our goal. We only thought we could really do about 50 hygiene bags and get 50 blankets, but we actually did 100 in total. So that was really great. I'm trying to email these because I really want you guys to see these pictures. It was just a really great turnout. We got a lot of people from on campus organizations to donate. We also had, I want to say, we also had on campus organizations to donate. We also had the sororities donate at this event. Our last event, we had the fraternities donate. So that's why the sororities donated this time. Um, a lot of students, what I really saw, and I was really, really happy, was how I saw students step out of their way and donate to our event as well, just as students. So I feel like that was great. Hold on. Okay, Mr. Peters, I just emailed it to you. Whenever you get a chance, you can pull it up for me. But let me try to email one more photo so I could. I feel like it was a picture of where we had the bags, and but basically, once we were done with everything, we hosted it in the student center. Also, we had people like I said earlier, on campus organizations like Girls Coalition, Women's Philanthropy for Student Ambassadors. We also had Irvin Law donate as well. Thank you guys very much. We really appreciate that. And then we also had like some of my family members. It was really a great turnout. And overall, just a great event. It really warmed my heart just to see like people coming together and actually donating. We were Me and Naomi, after we made the bags, like with the people that volunteered on Tuesday, Wednesday we decided to drive around and donate the bags. And if we couldn't find anybody, I emailed this to you one last time. One more thing, Mr. Peters, and that was it. But Wednesday after we made the bags, then we drove around Jackson trying to donate all of the bags and everything. And whatever we had left, we just gave it to homeless shelters. So it was really great. Every hygiene bag included toothbrush, toothpaste, lotion, deodorant, mask, sanitizer, gloves, socks, and also what else? For females, they had also pads and stuff like that. And we also included a motivational note where it could be like a scripture or saying things like tough times don't last till people do. God gave his toughest battles to a stronger soldiers, just things of that nature. and then we paired it with some blankets. So yep, there's some few people that we donated with. Naomi is also our SGA vice president as well. And then let's see if you see anybody else. You can keep on going.
Okay, let me get to those.
Yeah. It's one picture with this one man that thought that's that I
Okay.
said sounded like my dad because I said, come to the student center. And he said the new union. I was like, dang, my daddy said the same thing. It's like the student center. I'm like, what do y'all mean? Oh, that's another thing I wanted to get into. But when you show the picture with Dr. Irvin, then I'll move on, Mr. Peters. Oh, that's also me at the other event. I'm so sorry.
Kennedy's greatest hits.
There it is. It's Mr. Big Man himself. With Dr. Irvin. We really appreciate it, guys, though, for donating. We really I said that in my caption. I was copying and pasting the captions because I posted on different social media outlets. I didn't think to tag Irvin Law on Facebook, so but I did post it on my Facebook. So I just want to let you guys know that Urban Law family, you guys see some two great influencers in our life and in the community. So thank you guys for donating. We really appreciate it. So yeah, it
No
was a great
problem.
event.
Always.
Um,
Thank you for doing the work, and this is what I always say. This has been extraordinary. You know, this is doing above and beyond. You're not required to do this. So this talk speaks to the character and what JSU puts in your heart. So just thanks for living up to the expectation of a JSU Tiger.
thank you. And then the other event that I had, okay,
Yeah,
so you could
tell us about Silk Sonic.
you could you could pull that flyer up, Mr. Peters. That's the one he was talking about. So this was a professional development event that since I miss pre-law for the family, I'm in pre-law society, and the girl that I did it with, joint event with, her name is Madison Kathy. That's her right there. You can go back to. That's her right there, Madison Kathy and me. We did it in the College of Liberal Arts building in room 146. It was such a great event. She's also Miss Girls Coalition, which is another student organization on campus. And then you can show them the flyer too, Mr. Peters.
Yeah, please put up this flyer. That's that's one of my favorites.
You know what's crazy though? She that was all Madison's idea. I was actually gonna plan on doing a flyer, but then she did it, and I was just like, wow, like I was so shocked that she it was amazing. But I'm going to talk about the event while he pulls it up. It was basically a professional development event. It was mainly for our society, but we also wanted to open up to the campus because a lot of people need professional development, and a lot of people just don't know.
What
Um,
topics did you cover?
so we covered the importance of networking. We talked about resumes, do's and don'ts. We also talked about what else did we talk about? We talked about interview prep, like virtual and in person, like how you should be dressed and everything. We talked about professional dressing because a lot of people don't know the different types of like formal, semi-formal. There's our flyer, yeah. Yes. So it was just it was a lot of people loved that flyer and it was a great idea. We was just like, wow, we didn't expect to get that response, but it was great. We had a great time. So we also talked about headshots. We talked about how to obtain an internship, how to be aggressive with your internship, but not only that, how to also manage anxiety while in these type of interviews because it's kind of hard for people who never really did an interview before. But also what I really wanted, like my best piece of professional development advice that we both gave each other while we are doing this presentation, mine was don't be upset about the not getting the job opportunity that you thought you wanted because God's rejection is his protection. So a lot of times you thought that maybe that job was for you, but it really wasn't. So it was great. Honestly, once we're done with this, I actually have to email people the resume template that I provided and mine just to give them type of you know an example to look at because a lot of people really need help with their resumes. We talked about what to put on your resume. Try to put relevant coursework. Don't put like art appreciation because that's not really relevant to your major unless you're an art major. So it was great. And towards the end, everybody that was at the event, we provided them a free headshot, so they have the opportunity to get a free headshot for our president, Erin Eatman, and they can schedule that appointment with her. But yeah, it was a great event overall. I felt we both feel like we really helped the people, and we even started off the event with a fun game that you guys probably would want to buy for your family. It's called Culture Tag. So like it's an acronym, and so it's like a basically black taboo. So you like Dr. Irvin trying to get Mr. Peters to guess what the acronym is, and he's like, "This what your mama say when you want some McDonald's, but what?" And it's like, "Do you don't have McDonald's money?" Stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
yes, or I'm not one of your little friends. Like this what your mama say. So it was fun just to get it, get the vibes going. We wanted it to make it a more like interactive event. So yeah, it was great though.
Did you record it?
Excellent.
We should have, but our president, Erin Eman, she just took pictures and stuff. We probably should have recorded it, but we wasn't really thinking. I don't know why we didn't. We really should have. But I knew it was great because even somebody after the event was over, he was like, "Do you guys know how to? Can you guys maybe host another event on how to stay in contact with these employers?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, like yeah, we can do that too, just to help you build, your networking." So we talked about LinkedIn too. So it was great. Mhm.
I see another event. I think as you do these, and first of all, kudos for that. And then as you do it going forward, definitely ask your other business that you got involved to work closely with you to bring some of that insight that you guys are looking for. I always valued that. I never missed an opportunity to go to one, to have somebody coming back that was in the world to tell you not only just the good, the other part. How do you cope? To make sure you're
Mhm.
just truly prepared to understand what you're walking into and being ready for it. So I think that's important. Kennedy, you got us loaded with a lot of stuff to get to today. So where we going next?
So next, we actually want to go with let me also email you this picture. Or did you already send it to Mr. Peters, Dr. Irvin? Because I
I
also wanted
did.
to show
I
that.
did not.
You did not? Okay, let me go ahead and try to email that to you as well. But basically I want to go into the this picture that Dr. Irvin actually messaged me today. It says defense attorney in the McMichael trial for murder of Ahmaud Arbery says we don't want any more black pastors coming here. And you know what? This trial actually has a lot of controversy, and I really wanted to touch up on how I even saw a post. My friend, she sent it to me. Let me make sure. All right, Mr. Peters, I just sent you the post that Dr. Urban sent me.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know. I actually have to educate my friends on this situation as well because one artist was just basically saying it's a shame how black people don't show up in drawers and things of that nature. And I have to tell my friends, I said sometimes I wish celebrities would be quiet about topics that they know nothing about. I want to say it was Chili from TLC that said that. I said because what they don't know is the trial is held in a all white county. And so the trial is held in an all white county. And yes, we have jurors, but if half the jurors don't show up, it's already not a lot of black people. So that's why it's imperative for black people to go up when it comes to a jury selection that they do show up. I said, but it's not on all black people. I said also the lawyers tried to present a motion to move the trial and the judge denied it. So that's something that I wanted to talk about. I also wanted to get you guys thoughts on this, Mr. Peters and Dr. Irvin.
I've been following it, and when I heard this, I actually heard the audio that goes with it. Um, he was referring to Reverend Al Sharpton coming with the family. He was invited by the family to come in, follow the judge's orders, and
Mm,
this attorney took it upon himself to say this out loud. I was about to get to that, Mr. Pittman.
mm-hmm.
The city is actually 50, where the trial is 52% black. So there is a discrepancy in the jury duty and who was picked to serve. Because for a city, a county with them that much, as far as black people on the tax roll, it should be more than one black juror on this trial.
Exactly.
But what this shows is defense has decided they made a calculated uh, a risk assessment to put race front and center because the judge was not too happy with him saying that in the courtroom, and basically said, I don't hear emotion, and people are free to bring whoever they want to bring. But you know, the hyper racialization of a jury trial. He was trying to get a mistrial, in my estimation, is what he was trying to do, trying to get the case kicked out. But that didn't happen. And so now this is where we are. And I think this is despicable of him to put this out there because um, take the word black out and it really doesn't even make sense at all.
It
Put
don't.
the word black in, it makes all the sense in the world.
And it just reminds me kind of like when we were talking about just blacks in Dr. Oy's class, because I take it for blacks in American political systems. Also, I take just U.S. history. And it reminds me of how, like, white people, well, let me not say white people, but how can I just say this? How, because it brings up the question of, like, when we talk about in class, it's like, can black people be racist? And it kind of just brings this up in my mind because it's just like, if you take, like you said earlier, if you just take black out, it doesn't make any sense. What does that have to do with anything? You get what I'm trying to say? We don't want more black pastors. And it's almost in a way, if we go back to ancient times, if we go back to history, this is a religion that back in the day that granted we learned to love ourselves, but white people did force Christianity on us because this is what we were taught. This is what all we saw. We didn't have any knowledge at the time. So it's just like you put this on us. Now we're creating, not creating, but we're starting to have our own beliefs and have our own type of sense of community. And now you're just saying, well, it's like you say you're Christian, but you're saying, well, we don't want any more black pastors. Or you say things of that such. It just shows ignorance to me personally. That's what it really shows. So what are your thoughts, Mr. Peters?
Ignorance doesn't have a color or is not defined by color alone. Ignorance stands on its own. Ignorance is ignorance. And so I think when you see it in a situation like this, which is what Charles just pointed out, it looks like they're taking a very calculated risk to lead with race. Don't quite understand what the angle is, but I'm sure Dr. Irvin might. But it's interesting in a case that's already hyperly racially centered.
Exactly.
To lead with that tells me that they felt like that was the best play they had, which is very interesting. Um,
Yeah. Well, here's where I'm gonna push back on both of you and
Okay.
Kennedy.
Okay.
This is not ignorance.
Mm.
This is not ignorance. This is what racism looks like in a strategic fashion. Because the statement that is not up there is that the attorney also said he wished he had more bubbles on the jury. Um, so what he's doing is he's trying to set a tone for sympathy for his client. That's
Makes
And,
strategic.
sense.
That's
and you,
cold. That's
is it,
calculated.
and then yeah, and you know what? And just to, I don't even know why it just slipped my mind. I should have put this on today's agenda, but I didn't want it to be too packed. Another thing that's calculated. If you guys haven't keeping up, I totally forgot until yesterday. I saw the Rittenhouse trial was going on, where that white boy got on that stand and started to cry his white tears, and we don't care. And I had to bring that up to Dr. Ori in our class the other day because I was just like, why do black people always have to be so conscious of white people's feelings when they did not care about our feelings for centuries?
Well, here's
And it
my
just goes to show how it was calculated in the trial because then he
oh yeah.
started crying. And it's just like, no, I don't care.
He wasn't crying when his mother took him across state lines with an AR-15. He wasn't crying when he
Exactly.
killed. He wasn't crying when he pulled the trigger. So I mean, these are strategies that you see being played out before you.
You heard me say it last week, and I'll say it. America has, and this is nothing new, right?
Mhm.
America has a problem and has always had a problem with race. In America, we will continue to see these types of injustices and statements and craziness until America is forced to deal with this problem. And I don't know how and when and what that's going to look like and what that's going to be, and if I ever get to see it in my lifetime. But I can tell you that in my discussions, you know, I'm all for honest, true conversations. Let's put it all out there so we can deal with it. I think for a long time, there's so many things that hadn't been said, that hadn't been discussed, and we all know it was wrong. And if you allow it to continue to be done and nobody says anything, then you're almost as guilty as the people doing it. So I think we have to have the conversation, and it doesn't. You can have that conversation in an amicable way with the person that's a 90%er. And I tell you all the time, 90% of the people reside in the middle. You got 5% on both extremes. They don't talk to nobody but each other. But we don't do that enough. And the reality here, as Charles has pointed out, this was a strategic play here. This is a strategy. Because you have a victim that doesn't have enough sympathy or any sympathy right now, and he has to create it and sensationalize it so that he can use it later. He's trying to set up a narrative, which I didn't think about. But hey, I get it. And it's a chess game, and he's trying to play the best chess game he can that he thinks gonna get him to where he's trying to get to. And hopefully the prosecution knows how to play chess really well.
All right. Okay. I like you guys' statement. So moving on, this is another topic that I actually wanted to highlight. So I feel like the audience and you guys really have probably already heard of it. I didn't really know until my friends had to educate me on it. The Henry Ruggs, the third incident. So I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate. Just work with me here and watch. Just work with me here, okay? So for those of you who don't know, Henry Ruggs, he's a wide receiver for the Oakland Raiders. He was drunk driving last night, and he was going, I want to say over 100, and he hit a lady who was sitting in her car with her dog, and it was on the side. I mean, in the neighborhood as well. He hit her so hard that her door was jammed, like it was locked, like she couldn't get out, but her car caught on fire, so she basically died in that car accident. And a lot of people are really against him. A lot of people are for him. So these are my questions that I have for y'all. He also is facing. Let me see what type of charges he is facing. He's supposed to be in trial. It was an appearance in Las Vegas, Justice Court in Las Vegas, Wednesday, November 3rd, 2021. So he's facing a lot of charges right now. I want to say he's currently being held. But this is my I wanted to ask you guys. One, do you feel like this would get the same publicity, if not maybe more, if it was a white man? And do you feel like it would be the same type of consequences, or in a way? Two, do you feel like as Black people, we tend to stick beside each other even when we know we're in the wrong? Because this kind of reminds me in a way of O.J. Simpson. And I'll never forget when certain people, I would ask them, I'm like, did you really think back in the day he didn't do it? And even to this day, some of my older Black relatives and stuff, and they'll just say, you know what? Back then I was just born because I felt like I saw a Black man finally, win the justice system. But looking back at it, he probably did do it. So those are two questions that I want to ask you, playing a little devil's advocate here. But how do you guys feel about this situation?
I think when you're driving under the influence, these are some of the things that can happen. My question, and to answer your question before I go any further, is he in the wrong? Once the facts are proved out, if it's proven that he was driving under the influence and he killed that lady, he's going to do prison time. But his fiance was in the vehicle with him. So my question is, as a professional athlete, why don't you have someone driving you?
And you know what? They said that she was also drunk as well. So it's almost
Okay,
just
well
like,
then
why are y'all?
why don't you have somebody driving you?
Exactly.
Alcohol and vehicles does not mix. So I'm not gonna make that racial. That goes for any race.
I'm gonna be this may be controversial. It's not the first time I've said something controversial. It won't be the last. I am who I am. But I think to answer that question that you said, sometimes absolutely we as black people will take up a stand for something when we know we don't really agree with it. And not everybody, but sometimes we do that. I'm with Charles on this. Look, drunk driving is drunk driving. If it's proven that he was intoxicated, he was drinking, and we know that the lady died, he's gonna have to pay for that. And that's wrong. And then secondly, I don't care if you're a football player or anybody, there is no excuse to get in the car behind the wheel drunk. And then the burden is even higher when you are a player of the means of him and you in a car drunk when you can have a driver. And I can tell you, most of the NFL teams have a resource where all they got to do is make a phone call.
Yeah.
Because they got a
Call
whole
Uber.
partnership
You
with
can
Madden.
just call Uber.
So all they got to do is make a phone call. No judgment.
Yeah, but he's in a whole different range, Kennedy. They have security for
Mm.
the organization. All NFL, all professional sports teams do. All he has to do is
Oh,
call one of them and tell them, "I need assistance," and they
And
would have been there in a heartbeat.
I did not know that. Wow. You definitely taught me something new. It
Yeah.
is sad. I wish, you know, I would say I'm sorry for him, but in a way, this is what you chose to do. Regardless of the situation, you have to face the consequences. You know, so
yeah,
that's one
you
thing.
said it perfectly. I'm sorry that he made that choice, but that choice
Yes.
was wrong.
Yeah.
And that
It,
choice ended up taking somebody's life. And in this case, did the dog die too?
yes, like
So it took
everything.
it took the life of an animal, and it took the life of a person. So, and you in California, yeah, you gonna
And
pay.
you're doing it in
Nevada.
the neighborhood, like you're Las Vegas, Nevada, and you're in the neighborhood,
Yeah,
so you're
Nevada.
Oh,
going
in
like
Nevada, it was in
over
Nevada.
100.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going over 100 in the neighborhood, and a lot of people was like, "Well, the girlfriend not loyal. She should have took the charges." Are you crazy? Like, let's start holding people accountable. And like I said, that's how sometimes I love the black community. I do, but at times we tend to stand up for stuff that we know are not right. Yeah, we just gonna stick beside them. He just give him one more chance. Now, if roles was reversed, how would you still have that type of feelings toward the situation? You get what I'm trying to say? So
Like I
that's
said,
how. What you say, Mr. Peter? Go ahead.
no. Go ahead. I was just
No,
agreeing with you.
yeah. And so the last thing I want to talk about before we go into the SWAT game predictions was the Hines County Sherry runoff debate, which was between Marshawn Chrysler. Matter of fact, Dr. Irvin, I did not know he actually teaches at the university. I'll take him next semester. So
Yes.
yeah, I did not know that. And also it was against Marshawn Chrysler and Tyree Jones. So one thing, like I said, one thing I like about my major is that I'm continuously learning about stuff, and once you think you know about the law, you really don't. So, Dr. Irvin, can you actually inform me and the crowd on the runoff election? But not only that, like how does that even occur? Why is it even occurring? And the importance of still trying to go vote again, and the importance of attending the debate.
Sure. So under Mississippi state law, if you don't get um 50% plus one, then it goes to a runoff,
Mhm.
which was almost assured by the number of candidates that were in the race. So when it goes to the runoff, you take the two highest, and they they're in it until November 23rd. You vote again on Tuesday,
Mm,
on the
okay.
23rd, and so that's how we end up there under state law. Mr. Chrysler is the interim sheriff. Mr. Jones is a captain of the investigation. He's over the investigations division at the sheriff's department. So it's awkward because they both work for Hines County Sheriff's Department.
Whew.
So, Dr. Irvin, can you go into how the atmosphere was at the debate? Because I currently couldn't go because I had my event during that day. But how was the debate? Was it more professional than last time that we went?
No,
It
no,
wasn't.
no. It was one mono e mono, and it was fireworks. It was pretty rough.
No.
It was pretty rough.
Oh
But
my.
I think they both made points. if I had to score it just off of the points that were made, I think Captain Jones, Tyree Jones, he was the most prepared. I can say that. Uh,
Hmm.
and he seems to have a better understanding of what the law is around the jail, which is an important issue for the Hinds County sheriff. And so those were two striking areas. I think Mr. Chrysler did a fine job of pointing out his administrative experience with budgets. Um, but I didn't get the sense that he fully had peeled the layers back on the consent decree.
Okay.
Um,
So why is the also just before we move on to SWAT game predictions, why is the jail so important to the Hinds County Sheriff Department? We can go
because
into that.
the sheriff, in conjunction with the board of supervisors, are the uh, people who take care of the administrative activity around the jail. And
Okay.
that particular jail, Hinds County Detention Center, is under federal consent decree, meaning that they have been cited for negative things, lots of negative things by the Department of Justice, Civil Rights Division.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so that's where they spend a lot of time, and that was, you know, I, I thought it was fireworks because there were accusations, there was innuendo, and it was pretty hot at times. They both shook hands at the end, but
Mm.
one of the glaring questions that Dr. Mangum asked is, "Where do you see your opponent in your administration?" And
Ooh.
Oh.
uh, Mr. Chrysler got first shot at that, and he was kind of cagey. He tried to say, "Well, we work together now," uh, and he kind of left it there. And then it went to Mr. Jones, and Mr. Jones said, "If I win, you can go back to sitting on the couch." So it was,
Woo.
And Mr. Peters, and I'm telling you this, Mr. Peters, I kind of wish you could just fly out and see the debate when it first happened, because I told my parents, I said, and I hate to be this type of person, I said it's not like Jackson politics without a little mess, because Eric Wall, it was he was saying
yeah,
some things, and I'm just looking back at Aaron like, did he just say that? And then the crowd's like, that's not professional. That was very unprofessional of you, and it it's not like Jackson politics without a little bit of
yeah. Well,
messing. So
you had plenty of cat calls from the audience. You had some people pointing out when they thought one of the candidates was not truthful. So it was interesting, but I think overall, Dr. Mangum did a good job of trying to make sure that the debate moved along and hit the most important issues. It's just when
mhm.
they got to the opportunity to ask each other questions, it got pretty hairy pretty fast.
I could have. Maybe if we finished early in time, I would have went. Cause
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that wraps up my portion of the today's show. Mr. Peters, go ahead and take it away.
Man, I don't know what to say behind that. I
I'm
mean,
telling you, Mr. Peters, it was the
I'm
debates was
just
really that
thinking like
good.
y'all work together though. Like right now, how are y'all really working together? Y'all really working together right now? Okay.
I didn't even know he like Dr. Irvin. I promise you, I didn't talk when David Bernard told me. He's like, yeah. I was like, he's a professor here. He was like, yeah, you're gonna take him for political philosophy. I was like, wow.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
it was interesting. It was interesting.
It was heated. Yeah, I bet it
let's
was.
get to these
Yeah,
predictions.
I mean, there were other accusations. I mean, Mr. Jones, Captain Jones came armed with photographs of Mr.
Photographs.
Chrysler with a known felon. Yeah, it was pretty entertaining.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Mr. Peters, before you start your swag game predictions, I just want to say, I think you and Dr. Irvin both did not really win last week's prediction, because the people that y'all chose definitely did not do.
There will be weeks like that.
Well,
Because how does Alcorn lose to BCU?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I was like, my bosses definitely chose Alcorn to win this game. I can't wait to tell them how they are bad at choosing the predictions.
I don't think anybody saw that coming. I don't think Bethune saw that coming.
Right. Nobody saw that coming.
Yeah.
You the only person that saw that coming was Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, because that right there.
So why haven't they fired him yet? Just like they fired Alabama State coach. I wonder why they haven't fired him yet.
Well, there's a reason. Bethune had a lot of turmoil, and his whole coaching staff was furloughed for several months.
No, not Bethune. I'm talking about Alcorn. I'm talking about Alcorn. I wonder why they haven't fired him yet.
It's his first losing season in forever. And he doesn't have a losing season yet. It's just his first time not just being dominant, but Alcorn has won the SWAC until they didn't play in the spring. They won it 6 years in a row or something like that.
I always thought
at least been in contention 6 years in a row.
I think they were in contention 6 years.
Yeah. I think they won it the last 3 years for sure. Yeah. So.
Well, they definitely not winning it this year. So.
They're still not mathematically out though.
When we play them next week, they will be out.
Well, I tell you what, if they don't win this week, they'll be out. So. And so let's go. Let's recap.
I think I told both of you in reference to Alcorn that this was not the same Alcorn team. Sitting out in the spring really, really hurt them. They have regressed, and everybody else is taking a step forward.
Yeah, I think it has as well. Because they've been out of football for what's the time? Over 100 some days, basically.
600 and something. It was 600 and something days.
Oof, yeah.
All right. So how did we do last week, Kennedy? How bad did we do?
I think it was Alcorn. What was the other? FAMU beat. Wait, who did FAMU beat? Because me and my friends were keeping up with that score as well. I think FAMU beat Southern.
FAMU beat Southern, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then what was the other game?
I picked Mississippi Valley to beat A&M, and they got spanked.
Yeah, A&M. That's another game we looked at. Valley got spanked because we looked at these games after our game was over with. What was another game that we tried to watch the score for?
We also
Grambling and Pine Bluff.
I picked Grambling. We both lost that.
Yeah, and then Grambling lost, right?
Yes.
Who woke up Pine Bluff? Who woke up Pine Bluff?
That was another one. I told my friends, I said, they chose him. They chose Grambling.
So you know what I told my friends in Pine Bluff? Do it again this week. Do it again this week.
I feel like y'all were 0 for 4. Nobody. It was
a bad week last week. It was bad. The only game
we got Jackson State, right?
Yeah, that's the only game I got right. Jackson State. 1 for 4.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's look at week 11. Week 11 is SWAC play. First game up, we have, and let me. I didn't even do a banner for this one. This is one of those really we don't care.
It's an important week, though.
It is.
A lot of things get decided this week.
Because it's going towards the end of the season, so yeah.
All right, Bethune versus Grambling.
Jeez, where's that game at?
That's in Grambling, in the hole.
Grambling.
Look, here's what I think. I know it's hard to beat Grambling in the hole. It is. But Bethune has won a game, and they have tasted what winning is like, and they've always been talented. I don't think Grambling has an answer for that tight end. I think Bethune will be able to run. I'm going to go with Bethune in a close one.
All right. So you got that, Kennedy. He picked Bethune. I picked Grambling.
Okay. We're going to see after tomorrow. We're going to look at these scores.
All right. Next one is Mississippi Valley versus Alabama State. That game is in Itabena.
Ooh.
Guess what? I can tell you who I'm going with. I'm going with Valley and Itabena.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Valley at home.
Look, they might as well put a jersey on the field because it's an extra player. Because
I'm gonna take Valley at home.
Yeah. Okay.
It's something about the air in Itabena is different. All right. Next up, we're gonna skip down. We got UAPB versus FAMU.
FAMU for sure. FAMU, that's the one team we gotta watch out for in the SWAC. 'Cause aren't they?
We already
They have
beat
this.
them.
Oh, well, I know we
Yeah.
already beat. Yeah, we already beat them. But
So
then
we
aren't they like the second with our score? Like
yeah,
they're.
we just need to do what we need to do.
Yeah, they can't control it. We can. If we win this week, they are mathematically out of it. If we win
Oh,
tomorrow,
okay.
Right.
FAMU is out of it because they're
Yeah.
technically 2 games behind us, but head to head. So if we win,
Oh,
if we beat Southern, we have clinched the East, and we're the SWAC East champ, and we have clinched the berth in the SWAC championship game
okay, okay.
to represent the East.
Oh, who did y'all pick? I'm sorry, I don't even think we discussed that. Who did y'all pick?
I'm picking
Um,
Fam. Mhm.
we picked Valley because of their field and that one.
That was Alabama State. I'm picking
We,
FAMU in their game.
Yeah, I can't go with UAPB over FAMU. I mean, I want them to do it, but I just can't. I just can't.
Yeah.
All right, all right. I think this is gonna be a track race. Alabama
Oh
A&M
wow. Wow.
versus Texas Southern.
Ooh.
where is this
but
at, Mr.
but
Peters?
the game is in Houston.
Yeah, the game is in Houston, but this is the young gunslinger versus the old gunslinger. I'm gonna go with Alabama A&M on the road.
Listen. Here's the thing, right? Nobody in this game gonna play defense.
No,
Nobody.
no, it's gonna be a shootout.
So
Whoever has the ball last wins the game. But I'm gonna pick Alabama
I
A&M.
got to go with the senior. I got to go with that Akia Glass here because they're playing on turf field,
Yeah,
BBA Stadium. There's gonna be nothing to slow him down, and with those track star receivers he got, man, look here. I don't know if this is gonna be a football game or a sprint. I don't
yeah,
know
it's
if I'm
gonna have
about
a
to be a football
basketball
game
game
track and
score.
field in this one.
Yeah,
I got to go with
that
A&M.
that one could break the 40s. It could be 40, 41, 40.
I think you'll have total. I think you got a chance to break 90 total combined points in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Okay,
can see it
okay.
48, 45, and
Hmm.
they both have pretty good field goal kickers. So mm. All right, here we go.
Listen,
Look at all your faces.
listen. Here's what I would tell you.
What would you say?
Here's what I would say. I've had this game scheduled, circled on the schedule all year long. Leslie can tell you. I've been telling him this is the game that decides the SWAC West. It's in Lorman.
Oh, it's in Norman. Ooh, PV making a drive. He
It's in
definitely.
Lorman. PV gotta go to. They gotta go to Alcorn. Had you told me that Alcorn was gonna lose to Bethune Cookman and Southern, I had Prairie View. I've had Prairie View winning this game all year. Now, what I will tell you is Alcorn is playing for their reputation.
Yeah.
And that's not a place that Prairie View wants to find them because Alcorn still has a good football team. This is gonna be close as close can be, but I'm gonna have to pick Alcorn, even after I told Liz that Prairie View was too much for them all season long. But I just don't see Alcorn losing 3 games in a row. I could be wrong, but I
We'll
just don't
see.
I
see that.
You might be wrong because you wrong
I
the other
am
time.
gonna have to go against Alcorn in this one. I
Alrighty.
think it's gonna be close. I think it's gonna be tough, but Alcorn doesn't have an answer for Prairie View's offense. They don't have an answer for Jawan Pass. They don't have an answer on the corner to cover their deep threats. Jawan Pass throws the best deep ball in the conference. And then Prairie View is going to play nasty D. Here's the thing: if the only way R can win this game, Nico Duffy has to be able to run. He's a runner. He has to be able to get off. Latrell Sprewell and the other receiver, they have to have big games. And Felix
And
Harper,
look,
they have to give him time. So they got to have everything working right to beat Prairie View in this game. And they got to win the turnover battle. Uh,
Yes, yes. I'm going against everything that I have told you all season long. For this reason, this is still the SWAC, and they
yeah,
are still the defending champs
yes.
unless and until they are completely eliminated. And Prairie View is going to have to play the game of their life, which they did not do last week because Alabama State
No.
almost clipped them for homecoming.
Yep.
Mm.
If they play like that against Alcorn, they're going to lose.
I don't think they'll play like that against Alcorn. I really think they looked over Alabama State. I think that game last week was a trap game, but they woke up in time enough to realize that they need to win this game. They will come in ready to play. This is going to be a dogfight. This is going to be a slugfest. This game may even go into overtime.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough game.
I'm gonna look up the score. Don't worry.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I'll be keeping up on it. This one is going to be
yeah,
And
rough.
whenever whoever wins, I'm texting both of y'all and be like, well,
Look here. I'm gonna put it to you this way: after this game, every player gonna be hitting the ice bath.
yeah. And the other thing that I would tell you is the SWAC has always been wacky in this regard. Up is not really up, down is not really down. So just because they've lost 2 games, now I want you to take this in I'm not an advocate for Alcorn. Alcorn is I'm a Jacksonian through and through. But Alcorn has been on the road more than any team in the SWAC.
They brought that on themselves.
Hey, however you get there, you get there. I'm not making excuses for them. But what I am telling you is they are playing under that hill on Saturday. They at home.
That's true.
And it's nothing like waking up in your bed. And I agree with you. Pass is a handful. Prairie View's defense is a handful. But Felix Harper at home with everything on the line.
we'll see.
Like
We'll
I
see.
said, I this is a toss up. I'm just happen to toss for Prairie View.
Yeah,
But look, this is gonna be. I'm calling it right now. I think this will be an overtime game.
yeah, I agree with that. I agree. It could bounce either way. I
Yeah.
just I just have a hard time picking against Alcorn at home after being embarrassed by Bethune Cookman. They got pride. They still have pride.
Well,
And
here we
sometimes
go.
pride is all you need.
What's your next one, Mr.
Finally, here
C?
we go. We finally here. All
Jackson.
right. Now, without a doubt, you know I'm D all the way. You know, in fact, if you even thought about it, I'm D all the way. That's where I am.
I mean, I'm picking Jackson State, of course, but this is Krispy Kreme donut territory. Southern is not the easiest place to win in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, Southern has got some holes in their defense, but just like Alcorn, this is about pride for Southern. They know they're not winning. They know they're not going anywhere.
Right.
But if they could be the ones to knock Jackson State over, guess what? That would make their whole season. So Jackson State better get off the bus tonight, ready to strap up for a long day. Because
Ready.
Southern is big and they're nasty and they're gonna play with a chip on their shoulder.
If I was the coaches, I would be playing the game from the spring in that feeling for the ones that are still there. I would
Yeah.
make
So
Irvin
they can
Miller,
see. Because
Deontay.
Southern tried to embarrass us
Yeah.
in the spring. They
Let's
ran the score up on us.
so so let's go back and get your mind ready because I'm gonna tell you in this game, Kennedy, and I'm telling you, eat well, take your vitamins, make sure your blood pressure is in check because this game is gonna be tough on your emotions.
Okay. I'm gonna be ready.
Because Southern is gonna come to play.
Okay.
They
I'm gonna
coming
be
to
ready.
play. And my concern here is this. We have a lot of players on the team this year that really don't understand this rivalry. They have to get it
Yeah.
secondhand.
Yeah.
Will we be able to match Southern's intensity? Because this is not a game you want to get behind in. I think Southern, I am fully expecting Southern to start the game and do something pretty crazy, such as start the game with Ladarius Shelton under the center. after seeing what Texas Southern doing, running some variation of the read option. I expect to see that. I expect to see them running the ball. And then here's the thing: for Southern to win, they have to do what Southern does best. They have to run the ball effectively, to put our pass rush at bay, and run it down our throats. And then our defense has to do what they do, which is stop the run. And if you stop the run and force Southern to throw, the game becomes a blowout. If you allow Southern to run, you got something on your hands that we don't really want to have. So hopefully our defense travels like it has been all year and they come ready to play. And they come ready to play, and I'm pretty sure, in fact, I'm very confident our coaches, after watching these two teams, they know what Southern's going to do and how they're going to attack them. They'll be ready for the run. And when they shut that run down and make them one-dimensional, this is going to be a blowout. And if it's a blowout, you're going to get out by the third quarter, as Charles said.
All right then. Well, Urban Law family, I feel like this was a great show. Good show. We're gonna hold them accountable, y'all. So after tomorrow, make sure y'all look at the score too. And y'all comment on this show later on. Mr. Peters, you want to take us out on a different note this time?
You know what? Let me see, because I was thinking I would take us out on a different note. So let me see what I can do. Let's do that.